You ever wondered what it really takes for an avoidant to open up? It's not what you think. If you're tired of feeling distant and want to truly understand how to bridge the gap, this video reveals the 3 crucial needs that must align for avoidants to form genuine connections. Look, you've probably spent months trying to decode someone who pulls away the second things feel too close. You've read the articles, watched the videos, and you're still stuck wondering why they only text back when they feel like it. Here's what nobody tells you. Avoidants don't actually struggle with intimacy across the board. They struggle when 3 specific needs aren't lined up. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what those needs are and how to create the conditions where an avoidant can actually show up. Stick around, because the 3rd need is the one most people completely miss, and it's the reason you keep getting those hot and cold cycles. Let's get real. You're not here to learn tricks to manipulate someone into loving you. You're here because you're tired of feeling like you're the only one trying. These 3 needs aren't tactics. They're standards. They're the conditions under which avoidants can actually connect. Understanding them changes everything. Need number 1. Autonomy without threat. The first need is autonomy without the threat of losing it. Avoidants have learned that independence equals safety. When you're dating an avoidant, they need to know they can have their space, their hobbies, their alone time, and you won't treat it like a relationship emergency. But here's what trips people up. You think giving them space means being okay with anything. It doesn't. It means you have your own life, your own interests, your own sense of self that doesn't depend on how much attention they're giving you right now. When an avoidant sees that you're not monitoring their every move, not panicking when they need a weekend to themselves, not making their independence about your worth, something shifts. They relax. And here's what's wild. When they stop feeling like their freedom is under attack, they actually start moving closer on their own. You'll notice they reach out more. They suggest plans. They stop treating every invitation like a trap. Because you've proven that closeness doesn't equal control. But this only works if you're also honoring your own needs. Which brings me to the second need. And this one is where people either save themselves or lose themselves completely. Need number 2. Emotional consistency over intensity. The second need is consistency, not intensity. Most people have this backwards. Avoidants don't feel safe when you're having big emotional conversations every week. They don't connect through deep vulnerability dumps or constant check-ins about the relationship status. That stuff makes them want to run. What actually builds trust is showing up the same way over and over without the drama. Avoidants are hyper-vigilant. They're watching for signs that you're going to become too needy, too demanding, too unpredictable. Every time you say you're fine with something and then passive-aggressively punish them for it later, every time you change your boundaries based on your mood, every time you create an emotional crisis out of something small, you're confirming their fear that relationships are exhausting. Consistency is what breaks through. When you say you need once-a-week date nights, you stick to it. When you establish a boundary, you maintain it, instead of caving the second they show you a little warmth. When you're upset, you communicate it clearly instead of expecting them to read your mind. This requires self-awareness and self-control. You have to know what you need and ask for it directly. You have to stop testing them to see if they care enough to chase you. When you do this, avoidants start to trust you. They plan things in advance. They ask about your day without prompting. They stop bracing for the other shoe to drop. But it takes time. And that's why the third need is the most important one. Need number 3. Time without timelines. Here's the need that breaks most relationships with avoidance. They need time to open up, but they can't have forever. Avoidants process emotions slowly. What takes you an hour to feel and express might take them weeks to even acknowledge internally. They need to arrive at vulnerability on their own timeline, not yours. Pushing them to open up faster, comparing them to your ex, sending them articles about attachment theory, all of that backfires. But here's where people misunderstand. Giving them time doesn't mean waiting around with no standards while they figure out if they want to try. It means you create space for growth, while also being clear about what you need to stay. This is the balance most people can't figure out. You're not their therapist. You can hold space for someone's process while also having a limit on how long you'll wait for basic relationship things like commitment, communication, and effort. When you give an avoidant time without pressure, but also maintain your self-respect, something interesting happens. They start to realize they might actually lose you. And that fear is often what finally motivates them to do the work. They bring up therapy on their own. They start paying attention to their patterns. They make an effort to show up differently because they want to, not because you begged them to. But this only works if you're genuinely willing to walk away. If they sense you're bluffing, there's no reason for them to change. They're getting all the benefits of your love without the discomfort of growth. Let me say something that's going to sting. If you've been in this cycle for years, if you've molded yourself into the most low-maintenance partner possible, if you've convinced yourself that asking for basic relationship needs is too much, you're not helping them grow. You're teaching them that they can keep one foot out the door and still have you. Real connection with an avoidant requires all three needs working together. They need autonomy without feeling controlled. They need consistency instead of emotional chaos. They need time to open up, but not unlimited permission to stay closed off forever. When these three things align, avoidants can connect. They become more affectionate over time. They initiate difficult conversations. They actually try. But it happens slowly. And it only happens if you're also honoring yourself in the process. So here's what you do. Start paying attention to whether you're creating the conditions for connection or just tolerating disconnection. Are you giving them autonomy while maintaining your own full life? Are you being consistent in your needs and boundaries? Are you giving them time while also being honest about how long you're willing to wait? Your answers matter more than anything they're doing. Because here's the truth. You can't control whether an avoidant chooses to do their work. But you can control whether you lose yourself waiting for them to decide. If you found value in this video, don't forget to like and subscribe.